in my relationship with God, so oftentimes He speaks to me in themes. Something that He just keeps repeating over and over and over. And years ago, He started a theme in my life. He said to me one day, He said, "Step into the pain." And when He first said that, I thought, pain? I don't feel any pain. I don't know what you're talking about. But in the spirit, I could hear it again. Step into the pain. And the next day, I could hear it in the spirit. Step into the pain. And it became almost like a rhythm, something that I kept hearing, almost like a nagging wife, if you could put it that way. Step into the pain. And I couldn't ignore it. It was something that He just kept saying over and over again. Okay, so it's like, okay, so there's pain somewhere. So what? And I tried stepping into what I could figure out was there, and I wasn't getting anywhere, and I could still hear it. So it's like, obviously I'm not there, because He's still telling me. And so a friend of mine, he got me in touch with a book, Angry Men, Passive Men by Marvin Allen. And this is really a good book about how men can learn how to step into the pain of their childhood and the things that they're struggling with, and how to express, how to break it loose. And so I went through that book and did a lot of the things that they talk in there. And that really, really helped in getting in touch with this. And another book that I read, which was very helpful in this, was Inside Out by Dr. Larry Crabb. And he made... I read the whole book, and there was just one paragraph that stuck with me forever. And he was talking about that faith, hope, and love abide, these three, but the greatest of these are love. He said that faith has no context in the heart except to the degree that we face and feel the fact that sometimes life can be utterly confusing. And it's only to the degree that we can feel the confusion of life that faith has a context in the heart. And hope has no context in the heart except to the degree that we face and feel the hopelessness of life. And it is to the degree that we can feel the hopelessness of life, then hope in heaven and hope from God then has a context in the heart. And the most important, love. Love has no heartfelt context except to the degree that we face and feel the wounds left by our primary relationships. And it is only to the degree that we can feel the pain left by those primary relationships that the love of God has a context in the heart. And that got me to thinking, because so much of my life I was macho. I was not going to get in touch with the pain that I felt from childhood. I was not going to get in touch. I mean, just let dead dogs lie. Just get on with life. But God was saying, step into the pain. Step into the pain. And so that was an interesting exercise to try to learn how to get in touch, to face and to feel the wounds left by my primary relationships. And the more I got into it, getting alone with God and opening these things up, it became incredibly painful and sometimes very, very frustrating. And one day I was outside walking, and I was talking to God. I said, God, why? I mean, this hurts. Why do I have to step into this pain? Why? And He spoke to me the kindest words I've ever heard. He said, because the part of you that hurts the worst is the part of you I love the most. And I said, God, would you please say that again? And He did. The part of you that hurts the worst is the part of you I love the most. And it brings me back to a verse that says that deep calls to deep. The deep wounds in my heart calls to the deep compassion in God's heart. The deep orphan spirit that I feel inside of me calls to the deep Father spirit that's inside of Him. And I'm coming to see that most of what we call salvation is this rescue attempt of God, trying to get deep, calling to deep, and trying to bring these two things together. Step into the pain, he said. Step into the pain. And then I had an opportunity to go to some of the revival meetings, particularly the one up in Toronto. And I went there on the first night that I went there. I was at the altar, and people were manifesting and being knocked down in the spirit. And I said, God, just come over me. Just enough of this psychological nonsense, this stepping into the pain stuff. Just come over me. Nothing happened. I said, God, come on. I know you're here. People are dropping like flies and things are happening. Come over me. Nothing happened. I said, okay, God, what do I have to do? He said, step into the pain. And I said, Lord, in this anointed place, if I step into the pain, I'm going to be screaming. So I got up from the altar and went out to my truck. Started up the truck and laid down. And for about 2 hours, the Holy Spirit helped me to get into the pain, to open it up. And I went from sobbing to weeping to crying to screaming pain, just letting it out. And I fell asleep exhausted. And the next morning, 4:30 in the morning, I woke up to a sudden surge of energy going through me. The Holy Spirit was just coursing through my body, almost like somebody doing spring house cleaning, throwing garbage out. I mean, he was on the inside, and he was moving, and he was changing, and he was flowing. And it was so interesting because from that point on, I never heard that. He never told me again to step into the pain, because that was where he wanted me to go, to that point, because then he could get onto the inside and start working from the inside of my heart. Just an interesting adventure. But step into the pain. That's what he told me, and I'm just going to pass it on to you. God bless.